live episode. So today I wanted to show you some raw insights behind what I'm going to be working on, what kind of task I'm going to be doing. I planned in to record a YouTube video which is going to be a crash course, and usually recording any kind of YouTube video for TechWorld Nano channel is actually a lot of effort. It requires a lot of energy from my side. I have to be like in full productive and creative and energetic mode because I need to have all that energy in order for the video to actually turn out good. So that's why I planned it in as the first thing in the morning so that I am completely fresh and I can, get started with it right away. And also because I know that once I check it off the list for today, then everything else during the day, every single task that I have will seem much easier and much lighter compared to that, because it's going to be like the main chunk of the to-do for today. So I'm going to go to the office and I'm going to maybe need 2 or 3 hours of recording for the YouTube video, maybe a little bit more. And then we're gonna go to an Apple store because I want to get myself an Apple Watch. I actually need an alarm functionality on my wrist so that I can sync it with my calendar so it reminds me of my meetings or whatever appointments or some important tasks that I have. And in the afternoon, I have a meeting with my executive assistant and Nikki. So we're gonna go through some of the tasks that she's working on, that we're working on, and we are prioritizing this week, and basically give her any feedback that she needs to do her tasks. And then we have a team meeting with all our engineers, all our team members, and then we're gonna do some more working after that. It is gonna be a long day, and it's also a type of day where I have to do different types of work, especially when I have meetings on that day. So it's not one of those days where I can just, sit down and focus on just one task, but I will still feel very productive at the end of the day because I will have recorded a YouTube video, which, as I call them, value tasks. So I will have created something, I will have produced some value. So I don't mind having meetings after that because I still feel like I did something productive, something valuable on that day. So that's our plan and to do for today. So let's get ready and walk to the office. Okay, so I'm recording a Golang tutorial. So we have a full course actually, which is 3.5 hours long. And it's great that we are appearing as the first in this video. And it has 1.9 million views. That's how well performing crash courses and full courses are actually on YouTube, at least on our channel. Now what we're doing is we're gonna create a crash course version of this. And I'm sure that it's also gonna get at least a couple 100,000 views. And since we already have this full course, I actually prepared a completely different demo for the crash course. It's gonna be under 1 hour, maybe like 50 minutes or so. Of course, I still want the video to be completely different from the full course that we already have online in case someone decides to watch both of them. So I have prepared a totally different demo than what I use here. I also had to condense the number of concepts and topics that I explain. Still had to make sure that I'm explaining enough for someone to get started within just 1 hour of crash course, and if they want to learn a little bit more, they can then watch the full course. So that's the idea. I actually split this and I planned in to record the explainer, which is going to be the first 10 to 15 minutes of explaining what Go is, why is this language important, popular, what are the advantages, disadvantages. I always start with why whenever I'm teaching something, I'm explaining a technology. Why was it created? Why did someone think, there are 10 other programming languages, so let's create a new one. Or there are 10 other tools that do the same thing, let's create a new one. So what was the reason behind that? And that is usually the core differentiator of any technology from others, and the main the main use case that this tool evolves around. And I usually try to pinpoint that right at the beginning because I think that's the most important part. So I planned to record the explainer because it's not fully done. I'm gonna have to take a look at the final. This is a script, but I still have to rephrase some of the stuffs, merge some of the paragraphs. The next thing will be to record the basic setup, and basic setup will be the start of the demo, and that's it. And then I'm gonna prepare and record the other stuff, the rest of the demo, where I explain variables and data types, so very basic stuff. Most important thing here is to keep a smooth flow of creating this demo, so basically writing this code line by line while introducing new concepts, and in which order I introduce those concepts, which means in which order I write these lines of code. So that's the most important part, because that keeps someone really engaged and it doesn't break the flow, basically. So every time I introduce a new concept, you know that it's based on the previous one, so it's like a logical continuum of a real life scenario that I'm actually programming. The explainer and the basic setup or basic demo setup recording is actually the most difficult part, because start of everything is always the most difficult part. Like getting started, doing the first couple of minutes, doing the first couple of sections is the most difficult part. So first, let's prepare the explainer. I'm gonna need another coffee for this because I'm actually pretty tired. We have our coffee. Now let's record the explainer. Let's prepare and record the explainer. One step at a time. It doesn't matter how overwhelming and how large a task may be, even if it's recording a 1-hour YouTube video, you just do it one step at a time. You just break it down into smaller, manageable pieces, and then you just tackle each one by one, because you can do the whole thing at once anyways. So you have to kind of chunk it down into smaller tasks that you can check off one by one. So okay, I'm not sure, so I may have to, so I'm gonna reuse some of the sentences maybe, or some little sections, and then rewrite the rest of the stuff so it's much more condensed and much shorter, because it has to be a crash course, so it's gonna be under 1 hour, and I want to pack as much information as possible in a short period of time. So I'm probably gonna make it a little bit shorter. Okay. Hello. Okay. Whenever you learn a new tool, you should always start by asking, why is this technology useful? So why should you consider using Go or Golang when there are so many other programming languages? Let's break it down in simple terms. Now, this still will not work, because whenever we want to execute a function, we need the main starting point for execution. Because if you have multiple files in your Go project, you will need to provide the program executor basically a starting point to tell it which file has this main function that is going to be the starting point of the application, and everything else, all the other files basically in the project, will be connected to that main function. So that's where the execution of the program will start. To clean this up a little bit, we can actually add a new line with /n, and I can rerun the Go command, or I can just rerun the application from here, which is of course more convenient. So usually when you're developing a Go application or any other programming language, you will be using this shortcut to rerun the application instead of going to the terminal and executing the Java, Go, or Python, whatever command. Ah, there you go. How can I remove this? You know what? Let's do no SDK. Ah, now we have it. Okay. Good. To use functions in that package, programming language, compiler, locally, and in the back, I was anywhere in the application, I could just hit run anytime from anywhere in the project, and it will execute or run my application because the operating system. Okay. So I am done with my recording session. These are the files that I produced today. So this is going to go in post-production now. 32 minutes of recording for just the demo setup at the beginning, which is, just configuring the main application setup and then some explainer and intro. So I'm going to upload them on Google Drive because they're ready to be edited, and then the rest of the demo will be prepared and recorded maybe start of next week. It's actually nasty weather outside. The plan is still unchanged, so I'm gonna go pick up Nikki and we're gonna drive to the Apple store and then prepare for the afternoon meetings. So let's go. All right, back in the office, and I actually did not get an Apple Watch because you need an iPhone to sync or to just basically be able to use an Apple Watch. Who would have guessed? And that means I'm gonna buy some other smartwatch. However, I bought some Nespresso capsules instead, some new flavors. Nespresso coffee capsules instead of Apple Watch. But I'm gonna find some proper smartwatch which has the functionality that I'm looking for. I already have this Whoop, which basically has all the functionality that Apple Watch has in terms of tracking your health metrics. So what I need is to sync my smartwatch with my calendar, where I have all my meetings and all the events and calls during the day, or any blockers that I plan in for some deep work. And basically what I want to have is like a wrist vibration alarm. Whenever there's an event, there's a call that I need to, hop on, or any meeting that I have to go to, because it really stresses me out that I have to constantly check time, not to miss an appointment or not to miss a call. So just having like a vibrating alarm that tells me, okay, in 1 minute or 2 minutes you have a meeting. So that is gonna be a really important productive thing for me, because whenever I'm working like a fully dedicated and I know I have like 1-2 hours before I need to jump on a call, I usually like towards the end, I can't completely focus on the work at hand because I know there's a meeting coming up. So my brain is, constantly reminding me that there's a meeting so I don't miss it. So that kind of pulls me out of a deep work or concentrated work mode. And I really don't like it. It's super annoying. So knowing that I have this alarm that's going to go off 1 minute before the call, which is, or right when the call starts, that is going to make this much better, because then I don't have to constantly think about not missing the meeting. That's what I'm looking for, to just increase my productivity and just make it less annoying, basically, to have meetings. So now I actually have a couple of hours before my next meetings. So I'm gonna pack my laptop and go to my neighborhood coffee shop, actually, to grab lunch and to do some work. Yeah, which is my most creative work environment. I work the best in coffee shops. And this time, because I have 2-3 hours maybe before the meeting, I'm actually gonna be completing the demo preparation for Golang crash course. So I'm gonna be preparing rest of the code for the crash course in a specific order in which I'm gonna then record it to kind of keep the flow of, explaining concepts like, data types and variables and some basic stuff and functions, and then have like a real application that you build by the end with like an API and stuff like that. I have an outline of the project. I'm gonna structure it in a specific order of explanation, and I'm gonna probably complete this in this work session. So yeah, let's grab some lunch and do some coding. Now I'm back in my home office. We actually booked a space and we're gonna be working from here. So let's get in. So this is the flow of the concepts that are explained through different demo examples. As I said, the flow and structure is always the most important because it kind of unfolds the different concepts in a correct order, so it doesn't break the flow. And there are actually a lot of examples. And I still have to do the last part, which is basically connecting the application, configuring the API, the HTTP endpoint in the Go program so that any client, HTTP client, can send requests to it. So that's going to be the last part, and then it's going to be ready for recording. And then within probably next couple of days, I'm going to finalize the demo. So this is almost final code. That's how it looks like. It's actually pretty basic code, nothing crazy, because there is only so much that you can cover in a crash course. And then we have a full course where we're gonna basically send or forward our viewers to after they have done this one in a more compressed time. So now that's done, it's time for our first meeting.
Yeah.
Back home from the home office area downstairs, I actually ended up doing a little bit more work after the meetings. I basically prepared the entire demo for the crash course completely, so it's actually ready to be recorded. And it ended up being quite a lot of work, actually more than expected, but I am done now and I'm actually pretty happy with the result because I have a really nice flow of logic and I have managed to cover all the most important concepts of the Go language that I wanted to cover with really good examples and nice actual demo project. And I'm happy that the demo project is prepared because that means I can record it in a pretty short time. So now we're gonna have some dinner, and then tomorrow is gonna be another full day of working on a completely different task, which is gonna be our automated email sequence for existing students. And then after that, I'm gonna be working on another automated email sequence, which is gonna be for marketing purposes. So basically anyone who is in our email list but is not a student or participant of our programs, they're basically gonna get these emails, which are gonna have some additional valuable, informative content, and of course with CTAs to enroll in a bootcamp with like sneak peeks and demos and stuff like that. So it is gonna be a completely different task than today. So not engineering, but rather creating content, this time email content. So I'm gonna be working on that whole day tomorrow. And it's actually one of those days where I don't have anything else planned. So I'm fully focused and dedicated on one task, which are usually the most productive days where I manage to produce the most. And it is going to be a lot of work because I'm going to be preparing videos and text for 12 different emails, and it's going to be like a chain of emails in a sequence. So yeah, it is going to be a lot of effort. That is actually going to be our next video. So if you want to see behind the scenes of, you know, how we set up the email automations, how we make sure to create proper valuable content and deliver it per email in a fully automated manner, because I like automating things that are repeatable without sacrificing the quality and individuality of the emails. And that's the plan for the next 2 days. And as I said, I'm going to be doing another separate video on that. So make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for upcoming videos. And with that, we're going to have dinner now, and good night. See you in the next video.